Hello, how you guys doing? What's going on? Honey, when I tell y'all, we have a special guest, and this special guest is a witness. This special guest goes by the name of Miss OG. We all are familiar with Miss OG. She is in our YouTube communities, so she is no stranger. And her experience dealing in Hollywood and dealing in the entertainment for about 30 years. Honey, when I tell y'all, she have witnessed and have seen and have talked to so many individuals. And she has been holding her tongue, waiting for the right time to really tell it all. The people that she have talked to is very close to these celebrities like Diddy, Usher, Al B. Shore, Brian McKnight, and the list goes on. And a lot of them are still afraid. Even though Diddy, he's behind bars right now, they are still afraid. They are frightened. And they trust in Miss OG. They trust her. She is been around for a long time. They trust her. So they have opened up to her to share with her some stories that she is going to tell to us. Okay. And Miss OG, are you there? How you doing? How you doing tonight, OG?
I'm good, Gigi. How you doing?
Yeah. You know what? We are in scary times, OG. I've never
Yes,
thought
ma'am.
and so many years that hip hop will fall the way it's fallen. I never thought in a million years that Diddy be doing all these diabolical things with young boys like Justin and Usher, and it's all coming out. And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Usher just came out, deleted 7,000 Twitter,
No.
Twitter
Mm.
comments. Yes, and we have to talk about that. And people want to know why. People are demonizing Usher because they feel that he was the one that led Justin Bieber to the slaughterhouse when it comes to Diddy. But it's something else that you guys do not know. Justin Bieber was not the only boy victim. It was plenty more. They just didn't make the cut. They always have these type of auditions, okay? Do you know how many young boys would die to be in Justin Bieber's place? It wasn't just Justin, it was more. So they are doing cleaning shop. Now Usher came out talking about, oh, it was a what they say, somebody got a hold to his account and it was a hack my ass. Okay. I'm not gonna go for it. So we're gonna come back to that. So Miss OG, would you like to tell us everything, or let's start off with you? I know you want to talk about what Kim Porter cousin. Are you guys familiar with Kim Porter cousin? Can you tell us about Kim Porter's cousin just a little bit?
Yeah, well, I met her name is Keena. I met Keena Porter through my best friend who became Keena Porter's mentor later in life. My my best friend was her mentor and her instructor because she had later joined and took classes to get her certificate for a medical class of some sort. And that's how she met my best friend, who later became her mentor. And she had quite a few intimate conversations with my best friend. I ended up meeting her one day. I and my best friend, we took her out to lunch, and then I didn't see Kina anymore, unfortunately, until she met her untimely demise in 2018. So
Can I say
that's
something, OG? Can I just say something? I want to interrupt. You know, it's
sure.
so strange that these young ladies, the victims of Jay-Z and Diddy, anytime they get to a space in life where they want to come forward and tell their story to other people, they end up finding out. And they end up getting a hitman to put something in your drink, to do something to have you an untimely death. So Kim Porter cousin, she has passed away, but her stories do live on, and I'm sure she lives on, but her stories are coming up again. And this is what OG is going to share with us, her stories from her perspective of Diddy. Okay. And I just want to go back a little bit on Hollywood, your experience in the entertainment. Can you just give us a little brief about that?
Yeah, I have 30 years in entertainment. I was in the blues sector, but I had many, many friends that was in R&B and hip hop. I come from that era of the 80s and 90s of hip hop rap. So I had a lot of friends in the business on that other side. So it was things that was being heard and said and known that was going on, back then from, I would say, starting in the 90s up until current, in Diddy's camp.
Mhm.
And like I said, later in life, I met Keena Porter through my best friend. So Keena is Kim Porter's first cousin. As you can see, they share the same last name. And I never asked her, so I'm not sure if it's two sisters or two brothers or brother and sisters, but they're first cousins. And Keena she was in the life, she was in the lifestyle. At one time, she had a,
I have
go
to
ahead.
interrupt you some things because some
Yeah.
things, some of us may not understand. When you say lifestyle, a lot of
Hmm.
people will assume LGBT lifestyle, but it could have been a Christian lifestyle. When you say a lifestyle, what lifestyle are you referring to? And you're talking about Kim Porter's cousin, Keena. And just let you know, Kim Porter cousin, she is on the screen right now. She has passed away. As soon as she started talking and telling the world what Diddy was about, she ended up passing away. So are you saying that she was in a lifestyle? Break that down. That
Yeah,
lifestyle.
I mean, yeah, she admitted to my best friend and I that she indulged, in some things that she wasn't proud of when she was heavy into the entertainment industry. Dating and going with some of the celebrity guys. She didn't mention no names, but she did say that she had regrets of doing a lot of the things that she was doing in the lifestyle. And I'm assuming that it was being a part of, the sex parties and perhaps the
Oh,
drugs and the drinking.
the freak offs.
Yeah. Because she said to my best friend and I, she wished she had known my best friend then and would have had a mentor to kind of talk to her and guide her. And I'm guessing she didn't have that because later in life, my best friend became that. And unfortunately, it was when Keena got sick. She was already sick, but she was determined to get her certification for the medical class course that she was taking, that my best friend was teaching, and that's how they became very good friends. My best friend spoke at her funeral, and at the time, and this was in Las Vegas, and at the time, Keena had, went away because she was very sick. So she had left California. But during her time in California, being in the industry, being, so close proximity to a lot of celebrities and Diddy, being Kim Porter's cousin, she told a lot of things about the relationship with Kim and Diddy and how evil he was and how so many times they try to, get Kim away from him or try to tell Kim to stay away. But it was a very tumultuous relationship, as people can see. And, your family can only do so much thing when you keep going back, right? And we know that Kim and Diddy went back and forth for a long time. And I think that has a lot to do with control, resources, money. Kim was spoiled to a certain lifestyle, right? And when you become accustomed to living a certain way, because even people don't know, even to the end, Kim Porter, even that the house where she was found unalive, that was in Diddy's name. So people don't even realize, even though they weren't together as a couple anymore, there still was a certain amount of control, that Diddy would love to have. And I remember Keena at the dinner table, the lunch table, telling us about how Diddy was so controlling to the point where he would like bug Kim Porter's phone, bug her house, rooms in the house. You have like hidden cameras and things. It was just crazy. And how one time Kim did a sweep to hire somebody to like find all the bugs or something that Diddy had put in her house, and it was just a crazy tumult. He didn't want her to date anybody else, even though she wasn't even with him anymore like that, like sleeping. These are the things that Keena was saying, and how she got to the point where she couldn't stand him because he started out so loving and caring and made such a good impression to their family, to everyone, fell in love with him, thought he was this good guy. And then here's this other side to him that they see now where he's physically abusing, mentally abusing, verbally abusing Kim Porter. And the family could only intervene only so much, right? And at the time, Keena Porter owned her own boutique. Like she was one of the first ones that started the mobile boutique business. A lot of people don't know this, but back then she was the one that was selling a lot of the knockoff uh, designer clothes and shoes and things of that nature. She was one of the first ones that had her own business doing that. And then she said she saw where people was like, she could be more mobile. If she went mobile, she can go to the people and get more customers. So she set up shop like along the beach in California, and she would just sweep up because customers would come near, or she would go to customers to sell her merchandise and things of that nature. But because of, unfortunately, her lifestyle that she led, she was very, very sick. As you can see, she's a very beautiful.
Something about that. I just want to chime in a little bit. Gee.
On
Now,
what? I'm sorry.
I just want to chime in a little bit. I am
Mm-hmm.
here said it's the escorting lifestyle. Um, I guess she was selling in those parties, and I'm hearing that Diddy loved those escorts. And I keep on hearing some horrible stories about escorts. They're getting taken out of here, and it's a lot. Y'all escorts, yeah, y'all gotta come. That is a dangerous industry to be in. And now you're saying that she passed away and she was sick, and no,
Mm-hmm.
these escort girls, they trying to trick off and get with these men, and these men are bi and gay and just using them for props at these parties, and they just doing all types of shit for some money, and it ain't worth it. Like they say, all money ain't good money. But go ahead. I just wanted to put that on out there.
Yeah. I don't know if she was an escort or not, but I know she did say she indulged in a lot of the escapades and the whole drinking and drugging thing. And she never told us what she passed away from, but she was on dialysis. I do know that during the time she was in class with my taking up the medical course with my best friend, and she, no matter how sick she would be, she would call my best friend, trying to get to class, trying to make the class. She was so dedicated. And she would come to class and she would be wrapped up, you guys, in like blankets and layers of clothing because she was so cold and she had gotten so thin. And so for their Christmas party, my best friend and the students, the rest of her classmates, got together and they bought her hat, gloves, scarves, and things like that so she can wear them in order to stay in class. Because you now imagine, this is Vegas, you guys. Y'all know how hot it gets in Las Vegas. But in the classrooms, how they have the air on, and she would just be so cold. So they bought her hat, scarf, gloves, and things to put on so she can stay in the class because it was so cold in the class. She was on dialysis. I'm not sure if she passed away from complications of living that type of lifestyle with the drugging or with the escapades. I'm not sure, but we can pretty much narrow it down to one of the two of such things that she ended up passing away from, unfortunately. And she spoke about how she really had a disdain, almost to the point where she She hated Diddy, and she hated what she believed and her family believed to have happened to Kim Porter, and that Diddy definitely, more than likely has something to do with it, is what her family felt. She talked about the book that Kim Porter was writing. She said there was a book that Kim was working on, and that unfortunately, prior to Kim's death, that's when her computer came up missing.
Oh,
Keena, Keena Porter told me and my girlfriend that sitting at that lunch table that Kim definitely was writing the book, and that her computer came up missing, and she absolutely believed that Diddy had someone to break in and steal it from the house that Kim Porter was staying in. She also talked about and it is so funny because I like 4 or 5 months later, Keena passed away. Because like Kim passed away, I want to say in like November of 2018. And then March 2019, Keena passes away. She was real sick, you guys, when she was having this conversation. And she had this conversation with us, even to the point where she still was in fear, not for her life, because I believe she knows she was coming close to meeting her untimely demise, but she was still in fear for her children because she left children behind. At the funeral, I remember my girlfriend, went up there and was speaking, and they gave Keena's honorary diploma and certificate to her children, because she passed away before completing the course. But my best friend fought hard, went to the school, fought hard for her so they can give her her diploma and certificate. And my best friend presented it to her children at her funeral. It was so sad, you guys. But yeah, that's a lot of the story that Keena shared with my best friend and I, that she was very afraid, even after she was gone. That's why she never named names to us. She said it just wasn't safe, that these people had a lot of power, had a lot of, resources to make things happen for people in the industry. So even until her untimely demise, she never named a name outside of Kim Porter and Diddy's.
mm. Well, but she told you stories, and with the stories, we kind of put two and two together. And I feel like
Right.
anybody out there, if you on your way to the countdown, you may as well just spill the beans. You already count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Just spill it. Okay. You
Right.
more of a
But being
justice.
afraid for her children, Gigi, her children
Oh,
is still left, and she did share something about Kim's and Al B. Sure's relationship, because people think that Al B. Sure was this deadbeat father, right? But he was not. It was control, it was manipulation, it was a lot of things that was going on behind the scenes too, that was preventing Al from having that father son relationship with Quincy. So that light don't should not be shed when people really don't know the back end of the story. So Al and I met in Vegas, and we became real cool. Al would hear me sing at this place in Vegas, and he himself asked me to be his background, one of his background singers, because he was getting ready to go on tour with Salt and Pepper when they was doing in Vegas. They was doing that tribute to the 80s and 90s era of hip hop, and he was on that hip hop and R&B show where Salt and Pepper was the headliners. And of course, I said yes, and it was during that time that that's me and Al there, yeah. And matter of fact, that's the night he asked me. He heard me sing and asked me to be a background singer, and I was so excited. And we've been cool ever since. And unfortunately, as things would happen, he never got to do that tour with Salt and Pepper because he became sick. He got mysteriously sick as well, and everybody see what how his struggle has been to come back from his illness, and that's his story to tell. But it was just a coincidence. I think that he suddenly got sick during that whole time, especially the way he grieved for Kim Porter after her passing, and even his deep down thoughts and belief of what truly, truly happened to Kim. I believe that with his documentary that's about to come out, of his life, he's gonna tell that story. But Al is one of the coolest guys ever, you guys. He's one of the sweetest, coolest guys. And actually, he took that picture of us because it was my phone, but it was a new phone and I didn't know how to work it. And he took my phone and was like, "Is this Android or iPhone or what it is?" So I told him what it was, and he was like, "Oh, let me show you how to take the picture." And he said something about one of the Kardashians. I think Kim Kardashian had told him how to aim the camera right when you're doing a selfie, and he's actually the one that took the picture of us that night. But he is a really good guy. He's a cool guy. I've never heard anything negative or bad about him other than what people think and believe, that he never tried to be in Quincy's life. And that is so further from the truth, according to Keena Porter, that there was things worked in the background and manipulation tactics from Diddy's side to prevent him from having that father and son relationship with Quincy. And as everybody can see now, that they are mending that. They are trying to work on that. They trying to start out as friends, and and then see where that goes, because Quincy is a grown man now. So he done missed the times of taking him to the park and playing catch, and his first bike ride, and taking him to whatever event he may have had when he was a child in school. But he's a grown man now, so he has to build that friendship and relationship up with a grown man, not with a child. And I'm glad that he's getting that opportunity to be able to do that.
Mhm. Mm. Yeah, so if you guys did not know, OG, this is OG. As you guys see, she is with Al B. Sure. She works in the industry, and she and Al B. Sure were working together. And did he have any conversations with you about Diddy?
No, he was very private. And I think because he knew that he was going to have this documentary, so he didn't want to spill anything out that come out before the documentary. He did tell me about a documentary that was being worked on, because I do know this. The conversation I had with him was about that post he put up about how they were trying to write him out of the history of the whole making of Uptown Record. And he was one of the first artists, him and Heavy D, along with who was it? Was it Jodeci? I think they come from MCA, and then Mary, but all of them was connected together through MCA and Uptown Records. And Al was one of the first artists. So, but it was workings going on behind the scenes, who I believe that was on from coming from the higher ups, from the elks of the upper echelons of the Diddy's of the world, that was trying to prevent and keep his history and his humble beginnings from starting with Uptown Records with Andre Harrell and Heavy D, because him and Heavy was cool and close, right? So he wrote that post, and I asked him about that post, and he said, yeah, he would always say the powers that be, or something to that extent, to let people know that it's like not in his hands or control. But then he took it upon himself to say, okay, cool, y'all trying to write me out of this history with the start of Uptown Records, when I know I am the nucleus of that history, but I'm gonna tell y'all the real deal. So he only would say little aspects of stuff, but not give away a lot, because the documentary of his life is coming out. As everyone, I think everyone should know that by now, because he's been posting and announcing it and things of that nature.
So why do you feel that they're trying to write him out of that history? Why?
You went out. I didn't hear what you said.
I said, so why are they trying to write him out of the history of Uptown? I said, why?
That I really don't know, and I think that is really scandalous, because even during the time when who's ever behind was behind producing this has to be in close proximity to somebody related to don't want to see that happen. Now, think about it. Andre is gone. Heavy D is gone. They were the nucleus and the startup along with Al of Uptown. So if Andre is not doing it, who was behind doing this whole Uptown Records documentary? So whoever is the upper echelons behind that was allowing these somebody to be in their ear to try to write I'll be sure out of it, which is effed up. It's like no way you can, take him out of the history of Uptown when he is the history of Uptown. You
Well,
gonna have everybody else in there, not have him in there?
yeah. What we're hearing is
I'm sorry, go ahead.
what we're hearing is the reason why is because all of these guys are going to write a tell-all book about Uptown. I get it's some horrible things about Uptown, and I've heard that they, I guess, want to replace them with Diddy, or Diddy was going to come in. Did you hear anything about Diddy and his relationship to Uptown?
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine a long time ago, in the entertainment industry, that Diddy's relationship, starting out as intern at Uptown, and working for Andre Harrell. It's alleged that Diddy and Andre had a thing, that Diddy had to, as they say, get on his knees, for the Andre Harrells of the world. And that's how he got to be able to move up up the ladder of that, starting out as an intern and moving. And then, of course, that whole College City thing happened, right? When he was on his way, I think his only artist he really had at the time was Mary, right? And then that college thing happened, and then Andre fired him. So now he is sad, and it was going around in the industry too. Even then, that he was talking about unaliving himself. He was just that depressed, right? And that, from what I heard my big brother Gene Deal say, is that it was people that came to save Diddy during that time, to stop him, like looking out for him, paying his rent, paying his car note and stuff like that. That's what Gene said. I just heard that it was going around in the in the industry that he was talking about unaliving himself. That's why I don't think he gonna last in prison, because I believe he totally probably will do it, or somebody else will do it for him. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, all these years roll by, he gets higher and higher and bigger in the industry, and then he became the monster that was created by the people that sit back and allowed it to happen, and knowing and being a part of and knowing some of the nefarious things that he was doing. And it was and a lot was volunteer, yeah, but a lot was coerced, a lot was threatened, a lot was blackmail, a lot was entrapment. It was a lot going on when you indulge in something, but you don't know this other thing is happening, and then they say, oh, well, you better do this, or look at this. Look what we got on you, what you did last night. We got this on video. You just thought you was drinking and partying and having a good time. And next thing you know, you on some videotape laying up in bed butt naked with somebody. I mean, it's all kind of stuff like that y'all, this stuff been happening in the industry. I'm in the blues. I was in the blues industry, right? And of course, the paraphernalia was around, the powder, the white cocaine was around real big. Back then, even when I was coming up, and yes, they was having those type of parties. They absolutely was threesomes, orgies, and all that. That was sort of like the norm for certain people that indulged in that lifestyle. But I just think it escalated, to something else, and then it became, let me hold this over your head and expose you if you don't do this, or if you don't do that, or if you know what I mean? And now you got people in a catch-22 situation. Why? Going back to Al, I think a lot of people, from that side, from, the upper echelons of the Diddy side, it was definitely trying not for Al to have any more shine. Because when Diddy met Kim Porter and Al, when he was working on the Forever My Lady, which was written for Kim Porter with Jodeci, Albie Shore wrote and helped produce that, right? And Diddy comes in the studio and he sees Kim. Now Quincy was a little baby, and he sees Kim, but he's a bigger guy now with more money and more resale sources, right? And some kind of way, when Al and Kim broke up, you know, and Diddy swoops in there. Diddy always want somebody else's woman, or some other woman that somebody else has had. I think he had almost every woman that Pac had. If you look at it, from the Sally Richardsons to the Sarah Chapmans to the what's the other girl a name that he ended up messing around with, that Tupac had. It was, and then same thing with Al, and then the same thing with whoever else. So he always wanted what somebody else had. You know what I mean? So just to be that calculating and cunning and manipulative, and like kind of like backstabbing when you're supposed to be cool with these dudes, but that was the type of stuff that they were doing. You look up and you see one month they with this guy, 2 3 months, years, whatever, then you turn around and they with this guy. It just, yeah, that goes on, and that been going on for a very, very long time, unfortunately.
Well, I feel when it comes to that, Diddy wanted to taste Tupac ding dong, and that's the closest he can get is to get the girl, because he gonna taste that Tupac ding dong residue. Okay, and he probably want the girl to that thing and then come back and kiss him in his mouth so he can taste that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like he and that's what he's into, because his track record shows that he loved to watch these women get banged out with these men, and he fantasized being with other men. Okay. And talking about that, y'all talk about all these freak offs. Honey, I just gotta say, y'all got some guts. I'm trying to think, and I know I should not project. I'm like, God damn, maybe if I go to a freak off, I can't freak off at no freaking off. I'm over here trying to get some head and you staring at me, bitch. I'm gonna want to fight. What are you looking at, ho? But I forgot it's a freak off. Don't ever. I mean, I can't imagine getting my back brain out staring at me. Like, what the fuck y'all looking at? Shit. I'll be so mad, and I'll be so like, God damn, would you stop looking at me? God damn it. Okay, but I guess in a freak off, you can stare at people, huh? That's okay. I don't want nobody looking at me.
Right.
And going back,
I mean, grown.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I
No,
was
go.
saying, listen, grown people do what grown people do when it's consenting, when it's between consenting adults, right? Like we all agree to do this certain thing, no matter what it is, if it's a threesome or a orgy or even the freak off. But when you get to the illegal part of that, that's where it gets complicated, and then that's where that line needs to be drawn. But when you are not giving the choice, and when you're not giving the opportunity and the choice to say yay or nay, because it has been thrust upon you through a drink that was that was tainted with something, through food or something that was tainted with something, and like you said, next thing you know, you wake up and you don't know half of what happened while you was out. And then
Damn,
next thing you know, you're looking at yourself on a video. Yeah.
damn.
Uh-huh.
I don't drink. I don't do no sugar boogers. But they would have got my ass on some chicken wings. Shit. My ass on them chicken wings and that Polynesian sauce. I hope they ain't putting shit in that. Girl, I would have soaked that chicken wing Polynesian sauce and been fucked up. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Damn.
it was just that easy, slipping the rupees in, to the drinks. And people don't know that even though these bottles of Cristal or champagne or whatever they drinking are sealed and all of that, it's ways you still can get the drugs in. All you have to do is have a syringe and needle and stick it through the top, you guys. And that's how they was doing it. So when you bust open the bottle, when people think that they're busting open a fresh bottle, which
Uh,
they are, but it's a fresh bottle that has been tainted. right, with something. And then if you trusting this guy to go to the bar and bring you back a drink and you're not watching him and he got some rubies on you and he slip it in there, stir it up and it dissolves in there and bring it back to you, right? And you may say, this tastes a little bitter, but you thinking probably they put too much of this or not enough of that in it. And then you drink it. And next thing you know, you feeling crazy, you feeling woozy, you feeling light, you feeling euphoric and all of that, you know? So that was the thing that they used to get the girls loose, to get them, you know, I've seen it do some crazy things, make people do crazy things. Like
Well,
take off all their clothes and run naked down the street type of
uh,
stuff.
you're gonna make me go back to my
Yeah.
tradition. You know, when I was younger, we used to always pray over our food and drink before we indulge. And I haven't did that. And now you talking, I'm like, damn, I need to start praying over shit. I need to pray over that
Yeah.
drink, over that food. Mm.
Listen, I look out in a way that if I'm not there to see a fresh bottle cross that bar, come purchase, and with that, because listen, even sometimes the bartenders was in on it, y'all. Even
Mm.
sometimes the bartenders was in on being part of the drugging. But it was a time where now I tell, you know, my nieces and things like that, you going out on these dates, like do not leave your drink. I don't care if you got to take it to the bathroom with you, don't leave it. And if he gotta order it, make sure you going or walking over there to that bar with him where you seeing only the bartender opening that drink and pouring it, and you're watching him like a hawk. Because these are the ways that they were slipping the rupees and different types of drugs and stuff into these guys and girls. They was doing it to guys and girls. They was drugging them. A lot of them I will see them run in the bathroom because they throwing up all over the place, or they throwing up all over the floor because they can't handle their bodies. It was a toxin and they can't handle it, and they throwing up everywhere. Oh, I pretty much seen a lot. And if you the type of person like me, I'm the straight laced person, right? So I didn't get a lot of. The only reason why I got the gigs that I did get is because my cousin was a famous blues singer, and you got to have some kind of protection, right? Some kind of safety net or shield over you, and especially it helps if it's a man. And my cousin just happened to be a male blues singer, so I was okay. But I was that straight laced girl, so they knew the parties not to invite me to. They knew not to come at me, you know, with the whole drugs and stuff like that. I would literally be, I could be on stage and be backstage or in the green room or whatever, you guys, and there was punch bowls, and I do mean punch bowls full of that white powder. You just around it. That's just what it was. You know what I mean? And you may not indulge in it, and you like, oh shit, look at all this. Okay, I don't do it. I just want to do my job, y'all, and go home. You know what I mean? So it was a norm, unfortunately.
Mm-mm-mm. I would have to give you guys advice just to fast. When you guys, that is your time to fast. I don't know the diet, be like 8 hours. You just don't eat or drink, and that's what you do, and that's gonna be more healthy for you. You know, and if you have to lie,
I don't
because
know if
listen to OG, I said, well, damn, that's why I don't get invited nowhere because I don't drink or I don't do no drugs. Maybe I need to lie. So
I
yeah,
didn't get invited to a lot of them. I didn't get certain gigs too as well because of it, you know. But I don't care. I don't know if they can hear you going in and out in the chat, but I hear you going in and out, Gigi.
hold on. Do you guys hear me going in and out? Press two if you guys hear me going in and out. If my signal failing, comment, let me know. Press 9 if it sounds great. If it's not going in and out. OG says my audio is acting up. Maybe that's Diddy trying to interfere. I'm not sure. Yes, but it's okay.
Somebody trying to stop.
Yeah, that's Diddy. You know how Diddy do. All right, is it better now, OG? Hello? Maybe it's
I
not better.
can't hear you.
Uh, let me take it
I,
off. It's better
I hear
now.
you now, but
Got it. Well, I have to. I guess I'll put the
say
mic.
something.
Huh?
It's still going in and out.
Got it. Okay.
And you
Well,
sound wild. Okay,
oh,
go
okay. They
ahead.
said 9 now. I don't know. I'm so sorry, you guys. I have no idea, and I don't know how to fix it. But I did want to say this. I had the pleasure to talk to Jaguar Wright the other day, 2 days ago. She was up here, and we talked about Diddy. And I asked her, what is your thoughts about Diddy wanting to take himself out in the prisons? Now she feels that it was all a big hoax. He's not going to take himself out, and I just felt that was interesting. Now I do want to go into
Mhm.
Usher. I don't know if you heard about this, but today Usher was trending. They said that he took out 7,000 tweets. People believe it is to be associated with Justin Bieber and Diddy and what he has done to Justin. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh God, this is a tough one because we definitely had heard in the industry, right, that we knew that it was alleged that Usher was compromised when he was a teenager, allegedly by Diddy. And then once Justin Bieber became his protege, it's like, why would you take, and I'm going to say allegedly, because I don't want to believe, but why would you take that young man to a predator, to the predator that that did that to you, allegedly? You know what I mean? And then you get on Howard Stern, and when I ask the question, would you let your kids be in Diddy Flavor Camp? Hell no. Like, okay, but it's okay for you to take somebody else's over there, allegedly. Like, yeah, like, I I definitely have a different perception of Usher if that's true. And
Uh,
I would like to not believe that, but he was Usher's protege. So why would you feel that Justin Bieber needed to go to Diddy's Flavor Camp for anything when you were the man, Usher, that can teach him stage presence, can do artist development with him or whatever he needed done? Like, I don't get, like it's a ring of these people that pass these people around and compromise these people. And when you are a young, aspiring young man and you're around your your icon or the person you look up to, like Justin did, Usher, and then to be let down in such a way and to be just passed around allegedly in a certain way to the person that did it to you. And it's unfortunate because from what I heard through the grapevine, it was done to Diddy by his, the Clive Davises of the world and the Andre Harrell's of the world, allegedly, I'm going to say. And his Clive Davis, a 91-year-old man with one foot in the grave, and ain't nothing gonna happen to him, y'all. Believe that, because he got the complexion for the protection, right? But now, and Andre, God rest his soul, is gone. But it was alleged that Puff is doing what happened to him to other young men. But when does the circle stop? When does this shit stop? Like, why are you, like, in order to sing, in order to perform, in order to have an album, in order to do a record, in order to be on a record, like, you gotta sacrifice all that? It's something wrong with that. And it's time for this to stop. It's time for that bridge to come falling down, because it's not like going by people's talent anymore. It's not. It's by who you connected to and know that wants to indulge in that lifestyle or be coerced or entrapped into that lifestyle, or black blackmailed into that lifestyle, or forced into that lifestyle, right? Like, that is the thing. But my question, like, that would be the ultimate question, that if I ever got to meet Usher, was why? Why would you do that? If you say you wouldn't do your own child like that, You wouldn't let your own child, but it's cool to let somebody else's child, long as it ain't yours.
Mm.
See, that's problematic for me.
Well,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Well, I had the honor to have an interview with Usher's victim couple of years ago, and it got on TMZ. I don't know if you guys remember that. TMZ picked up that story that I did with Usher victim. She says that Usher gave her the bumps on her birthday. This was the time when Usher was giving out bumps like government cheese.
Oh
So,
boy.
what's your thoughts about that, OG? I mean, because you have this great, ideal of Usher, and that's nice. So do you believe that the individuals, male and women, were lying on him when they said he gave me the bumps? It was almost like the Diddy situation, but it was not as bad as Diddy, clearly. But when
Mhm.
we saw that Usher was giving out them damn bumps and everybody was coming forward to suing, we thought that was gonna be the worst of the worst. Hell, Diddy done top that. And who gonna top it next?
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
forgot
well,
who done topped
yeah,
Usher.
I mean, it
Diddy.
was definitely it's been around for a while about Diddy having it allegedly, and then as well as Usher and passing it around. I do believe that, because why would you settle if you're not guilty? I would fight to the end if I'm not guilty for something, but if I'm gonna settle for something, like you want to settle for it. Same thing with the Diddy Cassie situation. If you're not guilty of nothing, you will fight to the hilt to be proven innocent. But if you settling, yeah, something wrong with that picture. And then I mean, the herpes situation go far back to the left eyes and the chilies. Like, I don't know, y'all know how deep that go. Like, it go back there because doing the go ahead.
Just tell us. Left I got the bumps too. Go ahead, just tell it.
Well, it's alleged when she went to Dr. Sebi, that's what she went to get cured for, but she didn't tell Dr. Sebi. He figured it out. I don't know if y'all know that, but yeah, she allegedly, God rest her soul, but allegedly she had it as well, because it's allegedly all of them was around there sleeping with each other, just going passing each other around. And women, unfortunately, women are so compromised and used in this business, y'all. Women would have to give fellatio, give the booty up, give the whatever up, just to even be a feature on a song, y'all.
Your mouth is made for chicken and mac and cheese, candy yams and potatoes. It's not made for all that. Okay?
Um,
And
Women are compromised.
you won't have to deal with that shit if it's just for chicken, you know?
Right. And now, unfortunately, so is young boys, underage boys, and and teenage men and young men. They're being compromised as well, just to have a career in the industry. I have a story where me and my friend, and we both are in the blues sector, right? And we had this meeting with these executives, and this was in Las Vegas. And I don't know if everybody know that Neo grew up and went to school in Las Vegas, and his family still lives in the house that they own in Vegas. And my friend lives directly across the street from Neo's family's house. So we over there, we in the studio and stuff, and we see a limo pull up, and sure, lo and behold, it was Neo, my friend. And, come on, let's run out here. We talked to Leo. Neo, no, maybe he can help us. I said, Neo ain't blues. He's like, you never know who he knows. We runs out there and we talking to Neo, and we tell them the story about the meeting that we had with these execs, and how they offered us a proposal of, if we agreed to be on camera doing acts, with each other, same sex and opposite sex, that we can be as big as we want to be. How big do you want to be? That's how the conversation went. And we was telling Neil about the execs, and my friend named the execs, and Neil was like, yeah, I know exactly who he's talking about. He said, same thing happened to me. He said, that's why I left Vegas and went to California. Now I'm hearing that Neil may be in some shady stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, like, come on. And it just keep going on and on and on. And it's like, y'all, yeah, anyway. But that was my, so I would not have believed it had I not been propositioned, me and my friend. I would not have believed that it was just that easy for people to meet with you and say this to you and ask you how big you want to be in the industry. But it's a real thing. I know so many females that are compromised. Like I said, just to be on a feature of a song of somebody, you got to give something up. It just don't come that easy, unfortunately.
Mm. Whew. Now, I do want to play this. I want you to hear this clip by Candace Owens, okay?
And the final entry of the memoir from Kim Porter, before she mysteriously got pneumonia and didn't survive it as a 47-year-old, is her dramatically telling her friends, quote, "He got me," and then calling 911. So this is getting very interesting. And what has come on the heels of this is people unearthing videos of Justin Bieber at Diddy parties. Now, Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry, extremely innocent when he entered the industry, an industry that he did not quite understand as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube. Then he was scooped up, and suddenly he was a part of people like Diddy going after him and saying, "Hey man, why won't you pick up my phone calls?" There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin Bieber looks to be like 15 years old and said, "Why aren't you picking up my phone calls?" And he's like, "Oh, I know you were trying to contact me through people and I don't have your number." And the next thing we know, Justin is at Diddy's parties. And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, and I'm not going to show it out of.
Now, Diddy had no business having that young Justin Bieber at them freak off parties, turning him out. And I do believe that Diddy done put something in Justin drink at a young age, and he took advantage of him. And that's why Justin don't want to be around his ass. It's traumatic. Every time he see Diddy, he is traumatized. Every
I
time
saw
he
that
hear about
video,
Diddy, he
Gigi.
wants to throw up.
I
So,
saw that video,
but
and
we,
he looked so uncomfortable. He looked so uncomfortable.
but Diddy has a control spirit. When he is fixated on you, he believes that you is his. So he gonna keep on coming and coming. He don't take no hints. But go ahead, OG. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I was just saying that Justin Bieber was so uncomfortable in that video. It's almost like he was scared. Actually, he was trying to play it off, but that was an uncomfortable, scared look in that young boy's face. Because you're 15, you still a boy to me, right? Like that's young, and for Diddy to be at that time probably a 40-something-year-old man talking to a 15-year-old, talking about you ignoring me. It's almost like he was talking to a woman or something, a girlfriend. Like, why you ignoring my phone calls? I've been trying to get with you, get in touch. Like, what? Like,
Appropriate.
yeah,
Appropriate.
yeah, it was so inappropriate, and and Justin was so uncomfortable, and then you see the change, the shift in from when Justin Bieber first got into the injury as opposed to later on. Now he's developed this thing with his face. He's crying online. He's having breakdowns. And like, come on, you have a problem with alcohol and drugs. When you are around that stuff that young and that influence that young, that's the same way as Usher was. I mean, he lived with Diddy for a whole year. Hello. So he was around it. He was.
Mm.
And now again, you wouldn't allow it to happen to yours, but you so freely will let your protege be around it. If this is true, and I'm going to say allegedly, I have a total outlook and a side eye difference from how I feel about Usher. Can't take away his artistry, but like as a person and a human being, it's like, yo, how could you? But it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that happening, unfortunately. And I see Justin just having all these meltdowns and these breakdowns and stuff on live, you know? And it's not unusual, unfortunately. I wish I can say that. But I've seen a lot of people break down, and you wonder they can go into the business not being alcoholic and drug addicts, and then they get into the business and then they become alcoholic and drug addicts. Like, why do you think that is?
Mm.
They fighting demons.
Mm.
A lot of them probably have regrets because I know Keena Porter definitely said she had regrets. And she showed us pictures of her and Kim when they were young. Because even on her picture for her service, she's a very beautiful girl. But trust me, she didn't look like that, you guys, when we took her out to dinner and when she passed away. She did not look like the beautiful young lady right there.
How does she look?
Thin, face really thin, really, really, really thin, and just really docile, um, talk slow. The pictures that we saw, yeah, she was living that life. She was living that life, had that money, doing it. And but look now, look. I mean, this is what happens in the industry when they live that wild life and they live it until they get sick, right? Now you sick. Now don't nobody want to be bothered with you. They don't want you to come around no more because you sick and you starting to look a certain way. So they slowly fade into the dark, right? And then you don't see them no more. And
So
the
hold on,
next thing you know, they
before,
live in a regular life. This girl went from that to living a regular life.
so for everybody that has some curiosity, who is this lady on the picture? This is Kim Porter's cousin. Okay, her name is Keena. You can see it on the picture. Okay, she passed away, and she has a close friend, which is OG's best friend, and she had went out to dinner with Keena, and Keena have shared plenty of stories of Hollywood and Diddy. Okay, all right. So we all are on the same page, correct? Okay. Now, I also wanted to, you have some pictures of you and Rihanna's father. So this is OG. You guys see her in the middle with the blonde, and you guys see Rihanna father at the end here. What can you tell us about Rihanna?
Now I don't know anything about Rihanna, right? Except for things I hear on the internet. I know her father. And the reason why I know her father is because the lady that's next to him is my girlfriend and they are engaged. So every year I perform at their birthday party. They throw a big birthday bash at a mansion or something, and they hire a lot of singers to come perform. And it's a lot of Rihanna's family is there, her aunts, her cousins, and of course her dad. She have yet to come to one of these parties. I will say that, and I hope one day she do. Because I wouldn't mind meeting her. But her dad, as far as from what I see, he's a very nice guy. He's always been nice and respectable to me. I've never seen anything abnormal or anything like that. But then his fiance, who's my girlfriend, she's a retired nurse. So, and I believe they met in Barbados or something. But yeah, they give a big birthday bash because their birthdays are literally a day or two apart. And so they give this big birthday bash and they hire entertainers. And I performed that night and took that picture with them for their birthday. And this was just last year.
Mm. Well, what I'm hearing is that her father failed to protect her because Jay Z had Rihanna as one of his concubines and doing God knows what. And then he tried to sue her, and it was a whole bunch. It's a lot of stuff that is have not been told about this Rihanna situation. But I guess we will save that for a later day. Now, I do
Yeah.
see you with this guy here, and I'm curious to know who is he and how is he related to R. Kelly? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so okay, now I'm originally from Chicago, right? And I used to years ago before R. Kelly became famous, I used to be in talent contests with R. Kelly. He's a sore loser too, y'all. Let me tell y'all that little joke. But anyway, when he didn't win first place, oh my God, he was a sore loser. But anyway, uh, I I met R. Kelly and Felton them. I was managing this girls group. This time I was doing some management, and this girl group had opened up for Tamar Braxton. And I don't know if y'all know, Tamar Braxton had a little single that kind of did okay back in the day. And this was in, I want to say, mid to early 2000s maybe. And we were in Chicago, and they opened up for Tamar Braxton and Felton, and R. Kelly was there, and people from R. Kelly camp. And so the young ladies I was managing had ended up hanging around R. Kelly's people, trying to get to R. Kelly, right? Because they want a record deal, right? And it got so ugly because the girls I was managing, R. Kelly's camp, no longer wanted me to be their manager, and now I know why. Is because they was up to something, shady. And so it got so ugly, you guys, because they not my daughters, so I didn't have that type of control over them. And one of the young ladies that I was managing was underage. I had invested a lot in these girls, but they wasn't listening to me, because they're listening to guys from R. Kelly's camp talk about how they gonna hook them up with R. Kelly and he gonna make them a star and this, that. So little me and my little power, I was powerless. So I let those girls out of their contract. I called the youngest girl's mother and I told her, I says, listen, I said, your daughter is hanging out over here, over yonder. Okay. And she is the only one that is underage. So by the time, okay, I let them go, I never saw these girls again. And I end up hearing through the grapevine that one of the girls actually moved to Atlanta to follow behind R. Kelly. And so years go by, I don't hear from these girls or nothing. And then the documentary come out, and I'm praying to God, because I call my ex, who was the producer working with these girls, right? I called him. I says, look, look at the documentary, because Lord, I'm so afraid. I thought the girls was going to be on there. They wasn't on the documentary, but I know for a fact that they was hanging around in that camp with R. Kelly and his people. So after R. Kelly gets convicted and everything, Felton. Now, me and Felton always stay cool. Recently, that's a picture of us like 3-4 months ago. So he was a part of public announcement, and he was one of the main writers for R. Kelly. Y'all can look on the album covers or CD, whatever, you'll see his name. So he was writing a lot of the hits and stuff along with R. Kelly. So when that happened to R. Kelly, goes to jail and everything. Then Felton steps up and be the lead singer with public announcement, which he's the lead singer right to this day. And we all from Chicago. So when I went home, he had a show and I went to it, and that's that picture. And that literally was probably about 4-5 months ago. So, but that's my that's my R. Kelly story, so, and my experience with dealing with that.
Now, you have some information on Brian McKnight that we all need to know. Can you give us
Ooh,
the
Lord
full one on
Jesus.
him?
Ooh,
And
Lord Jesus.
this is you with his kids, right?
Yes, that's me, y'all. That's when I was wearing my hair long and black. That's me, Nick, and Brian Jr. And they such a joy to work with. I worked with him when he was in Vegas, him and his boys. And I thought I sent you the one with me and Brian too. But anyway, Nick is the one with the little hood on, the thinner, shorter one. And he's the one that's sick. He has stage 4 cancer right now. And these two, Brian Jr. and Nick, and Brian also has a daughter that lives here in Arizona where I am. So unfortunately, Brian has decided to cut all ties with his firstborn children. Y'all, when I tell y'all, now when I worked for him, he didn't do anything personally to me, but he was not a nice person. He was not a nice person. I saw the way he treated and talked to other staff that was working with us backstage, right? And I was like, I don't ever wanna, ever. And I told my agent, don't ever, 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 ever call me for him. Prior to that, I was at an award show with a very good friend of mine who is an actor who just passed away. His name is David McKnight. And we happened to be sitting behind Brian McKnight. And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to introduce myself to Brian. You know, we may be related. You know, we got the same last name, da da da." So the award show is over and we all, you know, just kind of saying hi to people we know, whatever. So he goes up to Brian and went to shake his hand, introduce himself and say, "Yo, you know, we might be related. I'm David McKnight, you know, the actor." And David McKnight, if you guys don't know, he worked in this old movie with Glenn Turman called JD's Revenge. And he worked with Vivica Fox and a lot of other people in a lot of other movies. Just look David McKnight up. He just recently passed away. So God rest his soul. Brian McKnight didn't shake his hand, looked at him, and walked away. He was so rude and so arrogant, y'all. And that was before I even got to gig with him. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he's just having a bad day or something, you know. But when I got to actually work up close and personal with him, I don't care for him at all. And now I'm hearing the things that he's saying about his children with his first marriage. Now, the girl that lives here, his daughter that lives here in Arizona, she's very well known in sports here. And I think Brian had an affair while he was married to their mother and got another woman pregnant and had this young lady. And he don't have a relationship with her. They go back and forth. It was tumultuous. So I don't know now if he's even talking to her. He has literally kind of deserted Brian Jr. and Nick. And it's so unfortunate that when I tell you those were the sweetest young men to work with, and to see them battling it out and going back and forth, and their father getting on social media, gaslighting them and talking down and bad about them like they the seed or spawn from everything, you know, demonic or whatever. Like, for me, yeah, I can't F with him no more. Period. Like, support, like none of that. And he actually coming here in December, and I told my agent, "Don't call me. I will never ever work with the likes of him ever again. He's not a nice person."
Mm, 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 mm. Whew. Thank you so much for letting us know. Anything else that you want to discuss that we didn't get a chance to discuss yet?
Um, Not really. Just to kind of sum things up, just to say, guys, I know you guys think sometimes it's so easy to walk away, right? Listening to Keena tell a lot of her life story and things of that nature before she passed away. Yeah, we do things that we regret, right? When we were younger, we may have indulged in whatever, drugs, whatever, something, whatever, right? And now you're older, we supposed to be wiser, we make better choices, right? Sometimes for people, unfortunately, like Keena, it becomes too late. So what happens in the industry, they fade away and they go. Like, she was living a normal, regular life, y'all, going to a regular medical school to get her degree and certificate because she wanted to accomplish something other than what that life had to offer her. Because that life ultimately ended up costing her her life. So in the end, she just wanted to live a regular life. She would say to my best friend, "I wish I had somebody to mentor me. I wish I'd have met you." What she tell my best friend? "I wish I'd have met you like 20 something years ago," something like that, to that nature. She said to my best friend. But my best friend did mentor her all the way up until she passed away and made sure that she got her diploma and certificate for that class, that she would come to class, y'all. She'd be sick as I don't know what. She'd be done just left dialysis and tired almost. And my best friend would send work home, which she wasn't supposed to do, for her to work on when she couldn't get out of bed, things of that nature. And like I said, we never knew exactly what she passed away from, but we do believe it had something to do with the lifestyle that she was living back then.
Mhm.
So when people say, why didn't they just walk away? Why, even with the Kim Porter situation, right? Because we know that Kim Porter went back and forth with Diddy for many years before she finally got Diddy out of her system. And even to a certain extent, she could never get rid of him because they share children together, right? So that bond will always be there between them. But it just wasn't even that easy for Kim, because when you have been love bombed by somebody like Diddy, right? And now he's treating you in the beginning like this queen, you see this side of him. And then this mask come off and you see a whole nother side of him. But you in it deep now, because you into the lifestyle, you in it deep. And it's like a tug of war with yourself. And at some point, I've got to say, at some point, she had some type of love for him. And now you are in this relationship, and we know we done had these type of relationships in our own lives, where you've fallen in love with someone and it's hard and it's this tug of war. You going back and forth, in and out, break up, make up, right? We watched that in real time with Diddy and Kim Porter, right? And it's so easy for us to sit on the side and say, why don't she just leave? I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't do that. But when you are entangled in a toxic relationship, in some ways, she became a codependent and dependent upon him, right? To a certain extent. The lifestyle, the capades that they had, because they definitely had some threesomes from what Sheena said, because Kim was bisexual. I don't know if y'all know that. So it was like that type of thing, and that can even become an addiction to a certain extent, right? So, and it's not that easy to just walk away. You have to slowly wean yourself, just like anybody with an addiction would. You have to wean yourself out of a love relationship with somebody you know is toxic. You have to wean yourself off of alcohol. You have to wean yourself off drugs. You just don't. Cold turkey is not the best way to go, because a lot of times most addicts, they relapse 5 to 7 times before they finally get it right. So we watch this tumultuous relationship go back and forth. And don't think, like Kina said, don't think her family, her mothers, her fathers, everybody in her family was telling her to walk away. But how many family members, and even sometimes even yourself, have had that happen in a relationship, and they say, why can't you just leave? Leave him alone. You know he ain't no good. These are the things that she said that her family was saying to Kim. But Kim had to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And whatever that was for her, when she finally decided to do it, Kina said that's when she believed that Diddy had something to do with her demise. And they family believe it, and she absolutely was writing the book, and she absolutely had her home broken into and that computer with that information stolen. Now, what I'm also heard was that she had little what you call them things that you stick in where you save some of the stuff, and that's what I'm hearing that's being dropped now. Like some of her experts from like her diary and different things that she has saved on a drive, right? That's what I'm hearing. That is some of the stuff that's supposed to come out of her experiences with being in that tumultuous relationship with Diddy. It's not that easy, y'all. It's not that easy for people to walk away when they built something, established something, children are involved, finances are involved. This person has way more power, prestige, and resources than you do. They have more pull in the industry than you do. It's just not that easy. So, and I definitely wanted to shed that light on the relationship that a lot of people didn't know, that Al was being stopped from being in Quincy's life. You guys, that's the truth.
Now, people want to know, do you feel that TD Jakes is innocent of all of this?
No, I don't. I don't. I think that there's some guilt there somewhere with some type of involvement. Yeah, we know that with Diddy, that was a PR move, right? Because he tried. Listen, we all know how many times Diddy have reinvented himself, from Puffy to Puff Daddy to Diddy to P Diddy to Brother Love to Love and all of that. So he was trying to reinvent himself again after this whole Cassie incident, right? So now he has to bring a pastor in, and I'm gonna get close to him and get close to God, and he gonna pray for me, and and I'm on love. I'm about love, 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 and all that shit is facade, right? And I'm not with the prosperity pool pimp pimps like the TD Jakes of the world. That's just me personally. So I don't believe his hands is clean in this incident when it comes to having any type of relationship with Diddy. Me personally, don't believe that TD Jake's hands is clean.
Do you think that TD Jakes and Diddy had a freak off together?
I think it is possible because it is alleged that TD Jakes, dabbles. So almost every powerful man that helped Diddy become powerful, from what I'm understanding, that they were his sugar daddies and his proteges and mentors and things like the Clive Davises of the world and things of that nature. But these are men who got the complexion for the protection, right? But when it comes to black men like Diddy, TD Jake, when they go down, the Jay-Z's, they going down because they gonna pick and pry, and they gonna make them the face of everything nefarious when they know that the people that helped created them is more powerful than them. See, and I believe that that Homeland Security and FBI is after somebody bigger than Diddy. And they don't look like Diddy. They don't look like us, our color. See, but are they going to be able to get to those powers that be, those upper echelons? These people could be your politicians, could be law enforcement, could be music execs. We know what 4 or 5 executives in the entertainment industry have since resigned and stepped down from their CEO positions. Kevin Liles, who was once Trey Songz manager, who I heard through the industry, they was in a relationship. Now Kevin Liles has stepped down from being CEO.
Okay,
The
you going too fast. So you saying
Mm,
that Trey Songz was in a relationship with another man?
that's what I've heard. It was alleged that Kevin Liles used to be Trey Songz manager, and I'm gonna say allegedly because I don't know, I wasn't there. But these are things I hear through the grapevine in the industry,
Not
that
only,
they were in a relationship.
not only was he managing the career, he was managing an asshole.
Well, that's possible too. I'm just saying.
Right. And
And,
you
and, and it,
say
mhm.
Jake dibble and dabble. What he dibble and dabble in?
Wait, what you say now?
You said TD Jakes was dibbling and dabbling. I just wanted you to clarify what was he dibbling and dabbling in?
I don't know, but I believe he dibble and dabble in something nefarious. If you around long enough in Diddy's world, listen, people like the people that he have around him serves him a purpose, y'all. They not there just to be there. You either gonna be down for the get down, or you ain't gonna be around. Ooh, that round. Have mercy. But yeah, like I don't. That's why I said he dabbled in something. I just don't know what it is. But I don't believe TD Jake's hands is clean. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I guess when
Even if it even if it's nothing but him faking the funk along with Diddy as a PR move, right? To make Diddy look like he was trying to change in a light where he's about love and light and God and all this and that. Even if he was a part of that, I just don't believe that his hands are clean in that situation. And that was a PR move when it came to what Puffy was doing, because he knew that lawsuit was about to get out, right, between him and Cassie, and the threats. Even though Cassie's lawsuit was like what 90 some page, the original was like 90 some pages. I think they reduced it down to what 30, 60 some pages. I don't know how many pages, but anyway, Yeah, so we know she knew a lot more. Anytime you settle with less than 24 hours, y'all know that girl is talking to the feds on the real deal of what she probably experienced and indulged in. And she probably gonna get complete immunity for
Mm,
giving up the goods.
mm, mm. Now you was going into everybody else that stepped down, and I cut you off. Can you please continue? Everybody else just stepped down. The CEO.
Uh, yeah, it's a CEO of mm, um it's not, is it Disney or was it Disney? And it's one of a entertainment group, a UMG or
They said
something like that.
they said Nike.
Oh, Nike, yes, Nike, him, and it's a one. I want to say UMG or something like that.
They said Warner Brothers. They said it's altogether it's 4.
Yeah, yeah, it's about 4 or 5 of them. I just kind of browsed through it, but I just found it to be really strange that during this time of Diddy going through what he going through, they all of a sudden stepping down, especially Kevin Liles. That definitely was a red flag,
Mm,
especially Kevin Liles. Now, are they on any of these tapes? Are they names? Have they name come up and they had to secretly go in and talk to the feds and Homeland Security and they are forced to resign their positions due to ABCDEFG, that the feds got on them?
mm,
Just pay attention. Look at the timing of it all. I just find it peculiar.
mm. Ooh, well, OG, I just want to say I thank you for coming by, and you are always welcome to come through. I really appreciate you for telling Kim Porter's cousin's story because this is what she want to be told, and two, give people an eye opener that this entertaining Hollywood is not no joke. You might just
Not
want to keep your day job. You'll live longer. You will live longer if you just keep your day job and just stay humble, honey. Anything else before we close it out?
No, Gigi, thank you so much. I appreciate you, inviting me to your platform in order to do this interview to get Keena Porter story out there. Myself and my BFF promised her that we would definitely tell a little bit of her story and a little bit of Kim Porter's story and the relationship that she had with Diddy from her perspective. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank everybody that came here to support with the comments. Let's get the likes up. Shout out to my party crashers. You guys keep this channel running. And with that being said, we are out.
Bye
DJ.
bye.
Bye. DJ, where you at?